Hi, this is Joseph. It is May 26th, and I'm pretty much done with the trading session today. I traded the New York session. What you're looking at is the US 30, and the next few recordings are going to be an updated progress of a challenge that I accepted with one of my subscribers, which was to record the progress of me going through, the start of a trading evaluation with a funded account to get a funded account, and then how long, so that way everybody can see how long it takes for me to hit the expected profit targets. So this particular account that I'm trading is a 10K account. It's a $10,000 account. And one of the things that I highly recommend, that if you are interested in funded accounts but you've never tried it before, you've never gone after one, I recommend, if you're going to, depending on which company that you decide to choose, you select to get your funded account from, go after the smallest one. So I believe with FTMO, I think their smallest account is 25,000, and with My Forex Funds, the smallest account is $10,000. So I'm using a $10,000 account. I paid $84 for this particular challenge. It's $84 to get the $10,000 account if I, hit all of the expectations and pass the evaluation process. And again, this will give you a really good idea if you've never worked with one before, if you've never tried to get a funded account, and also if you want to use my trade copier to see just what kind of trading I execute. Am I reckless? Do I use wild stop loss placement? Am I using crazy leverage? Because the reason I bring this up is that if you go to YouTube and you type in results, or FTMO, My Forex Funds, things like that, people who have passed it, sometimes people and they're relatively new traders, they get kind of lucky and they'll make a video and show you how they passed the funded challenge all within one trade or within two trades. And I'm not saying that that's impossible, but what I think that that's more like controlled gambling in a sense. Like, I know that some of these guys, they understand the process, they understand candlestick patterns, and they may even have a simple strategy, but they're using extremely excessive leverage in most cases. And the reason I say that is because in some of the videos I can actually see the lot size that they're executing these trades on. So at some point, if you look at their channel, you see that they end up blowing up the account. Not all of them, but they will show the honest ones, the guys that are out there that are showing and very transparent. They'll show you that eventually they end up blowing up their account because they either just don't have the skills to be able to trade consistently, or they're using a very reckless approach with a extremely high leverage. I mean, they're using like lot size that's just crazy. So you don't need to do that, is what I'm trying to say. And as a result of watching my updates here, you're going to get a pretty good feel of what I'm doing, and that it really can be done if you know how to read the charts, you know how to trade specific markets, you know how they react, you know when to stop trading. I've been trading for 22 years, and I've been offering trade copier services since 2007. So that's 15 years that I've been offering trade copier services. So you can actually use my trade copier service to pass your evaluation process with any company that you're using or you decide to go after. But this particular challenge that I'm recording this series of videos is specifically for a $10,000 account with My Forex Funds. The first phase target is, the profit target is 8%. The second phase is 5%. So I had two trades yesterday and I had two trades today. I'm only going to record and start off my performance results to share with you in these videos to show you how long it takes me to hit the 8% target. I'm only going to take one of the trades, the last trade I took yesterday, instead of both trades from yesterday. And the reason I'm doing that is because I had already taken the first trade yesterday, and then I agreed to to accept this challenge and to record it, and then and then after that is when I took the second trade. So hopefully that's not too confusing. I'm just going to take the last three trades, the two today, and then the last one yesterday, and you'll be able to see the total profitability up to this point. So right now it is 12 o'clock, almost 12 o'clock California time in the afternoon. So it's 3 p.m. New York time. And you can see here on a 5-minute chart that the US 30 is more or less going sideways. Now I'll walk you through the reasoning behind these trades and what my stop loss looks like. And I want you to see this because, again, if you're considering using my trade copier, you want to know if I'm going to exceed these parameters, right? Some of these guys will they'll use a stop loss and it'll run right into their maximum, drawdown for the day, and then they get disqualified. So I know what it takes to pass. I've done this multiple times. I have many, many trading accounts with different funded accounts, and then I link them all together with my trade copier. So we use social trader tools. And with some of them, I can't. Actually have to manually execute a couple of different accounts, but most of them are connected with the trade copier. So I don't use excessive stop loss. It's not necessary, as you can see here. These were both buy orders today. There was a buy order yesterday. And I have that video on my YouTube channel, by the way. Yesterday's trade resulted in 207 points on that trade. That was the second trade, but that's when I started the challenge here to record. And I'm using yesterday's last trade, which was an entry of 31,971, closed it at 32,178. Now, if you look at the price, the ranges from yesterday, you can see that that was pretty much all that there really was. I mean, today was again another day where I had to be really careful, and I had to figure out where are areas of resistance so that I'm not holding indefinitely. So every time I get into a trade, I always have a target. I use point and figure actually to determine my take profit levels. I've been using point and figure for many, many years, and I also use point and figure to day trade Forex. But right now with this challenge and with my trade copier, if you want to pass the evaluation process, I want you to know that I'm primarily trading US 30. And the reason is that it's a pretty big mover. I mean, just two trades, very, very simple, very, very safe, very secure. And I say simple, I don't mean any disrespect for those of you who are still struggling. I know how hard it is to make it in this business. And I've committed the last 22 years to improving and getting better and better every day. Practically every day that goes by, I study, I work hard, I read more, I want to acquire more information. And this is after 22 years. And I still have the same passion that I did in the first year of my trading career. And that's what I feel, at least for me, that's what it takes to succeed in this business and to stay and to keep my edge and to stay at the top level of my performance. So I never back down. I never, slack off. I'm always studying during the week and then even on the weekends. So just to let you know, I want to share that with you because that's my trading approach. And if you're going to use my service, I'm the one who actually executes those trades. And you want to know, how I'm doing, right? What's my mindset? What's my psychology behind all of this, and what am I doing? So this is a very particular strategy on the 5-minute chart. So every day it's not the same type of setup. That's just not true that every day you're going to get the same setup. You can wait for the same setup to occur, but you might be skipping a few days, right? We all know that. It's not always going to duplicate the same activity. So this is a strategy where I wait for the first 5-minute bar at the open. So you can see right here, this is, it's probably just below. So you probably can't see it. I'm sorry there. It's just below the view. But it's 6:30 California time. So that's 9:30 New York time. That's when the stock market comes online, right? Well, we all know that. And I just wait for the first 30-minute bar. Now, prior to that, before the open, I can see that we've got, a pretty interesting range. I've got a high, I've got a low. And sometimes on certain days, even looking at the 5-minute bar or the 5-minute chart, I get, head fakes. They'll come down and they'll take out the lows, and then they'll reverse, take out the highs, then come back down and go sideways. And in a situation like that, and that actually happened, I think that was Tuesday's trading in the morning. It was up at resistance, and it did that for the first 30 minutes. I was looking at the 5-minute chart, and I looked at the 30-minute chart. So the 5-minute chart, I could see that it was sort of spiking up and down, and I ignored that, and I waited for the 30-minute to clear things up, and then the 30-minute printed something that looks like a shooting star. It closed at the lows. I saw the volume, and then I shorted it, and I was able to trade it right back down. And it was a pretty decent move. You can see that. And then I ended up reversing position. I think that was on Tuesday. But again, that's not included. That performance and those trades are not included in this challenge. I want you to see how long it takes me to get to the 8% target. And then I'm going to record, and that's for phase 1 with My Forex Funds. And then I'm going to record and show you how long it takes me to get to phase 2, which is 5%. So you'll see all that. It won't take that long. I mean, it could be done in a couple of days. It could be done in a week. If the market's a little more choppy and more slow, it might take 2 weeks, for each phase. Whatever the case, it's always going to be a little bit different. If we would have done this back in April, well, things were moving dramatically. As a matter of fact, last week, I believe there was a trade to the downside on the US 30 and I earned 1,100 points. So right there, you would have had your whole 8% on that day. But those days don't happen all the time. That's the thing you got to remember, is that it doesn't always happen. So this trade, again, was a break of the first 5-minute bar. And I have targets before I get into it. I don't just, hope or wait or watch or look at the profit and loss statement on my trading account and then decide based on that. I'm waiting for price to hit certain levels of support and resistance, and I'm also reading the charts. I'm reading these candles to tell me when to get out of the trade and when it's likely to either go sideways, experience a significant pullback, or continue to break up higher. So what I did here, again, was get in on a break of the first 5-minute bar. I waited for the move to the upside and then the pullback. It kind of dipped up a little bit and then pulled back right there. I expected the pullback. We don't always get them, but I expected the pullback. Sometimes they'll go a little bit deeper. I could see it kind of testing this little tweezer top right here, which came pretty close. But anyway, and then once it rolled right back up again, I got in on the move to the upside, and I knew that that pullback was out of the way. I could see the way the market was going to react, and I wasn't going to get the head fakes that we typically see, or we see on a pretty frequent basis, I should say. So again, I put my stop. It might look kind of funny. It was not stopped out, but I waited for the pullback first and then got in once it was clear and it started to move back up. And I put my stop somewhere right around there. I knew I was going to probably make a little bit of an adjustment to incorporate the low of the bar that I got into if I had to, but I didn't need to. So the stop was up just a little bit higher than that when I initially got into the trade, just as a protective measure. You never know, right? First target was going to be this resistance level. So there's a zone of resistance in here that you can see on the larger time frame. I actually drew it out from a 4-hour chart. So I'm well aware of where my major support and resistance zones are. And I trade to those levels regularly. Sometimes I'll use psychological levels if it's a little choppy. I very rarely use the Fibonacci tool. The Fibonacci tool, I'm not going to go down that road. I mean, I have my opinion about it. I know a lot of people like it. I'm not discrediting the Fibonacci tool. I used to use it in the first couple of years of my trading career, but I primarily just use volume and I read the bars. That's what it is. It's all about supply and demand, and I analyze the structure of consolidation. So I'm trying to determine if I'm looking at a range of accumulation. There's a very specific way to analyze the phases of that consolidation in accumulation. And then there's a very specific way to analyze the phases of consolidation when it's in an area of distribution. So accumulation is consolidation at the lows. Distribution is consolidation at the highs. Now, this is a 5-minute chart. So you got to kind of take that into perspective. It's going to be much more significant if we were talking about a 4-hour or a daily time frame and we were looking at this kind of setup. But again, this could be an area of reaccumulation and it could break out to the upside or whatever the case might be. But that's how I read the charts. That's the way the smart money truly trades, and that's where they pinpoint and find their areas where they initiate their campaigns. Where, let me go ahead and go back, see if I can go back to the trade that I'm talking about. I'm going to go to the 1-hour chart, and you can see it here. This is the move that I'm talking about from last week. This is an area of resistance. You can clearly see it. It goes all the way back over here to the left, and then this was the 1,100 point move. So this is smart money. This is a smart money campaign, and I could clearly see this during the overnight session, and I was able to wait for the as we approached the opening of the New York session, and as the New York market came online, this thing just kept dropping, and for the most part I was able to hold it all the way through till the end of the day. And here was this support zone here. These are all larger support zones and resistance zones that are located on the larger time frames, and this is where the smart money, you would probably recognize that the smart money would behave this way if they're moving a lot of money, as opposed to going to a 5-minute bar chart and then trying to say, well, is smart money doing this? Maybe for a little scalp, if we're going to talk about smart money being a more informed trader. But if you're talking about the smart money in the sense that it's a big money play and they're going to need to hold on to the trade for a bigger move because of the way they get in and get out of that position, you could see that there's a very big difference in the way that it behaved on that 1,100 point drop to here. So you got to keep all of these things in mind. Now, the second trade, I did get out of the trade once it hit this zone. On this second bar right here, The second red bar is where I got out of the trade. That's where I closed out the trade right up here when it moved right up. It kind of bounced around, went back up again, and here this second bar was my warning sign. The second bearish engulfing candle. Now that's not where I closed it. I kind of wait. I know that very often if I'm going to see a top, there's likely to be some retests of the top, or it could be just more consolidation before another move and an accelerated a move to the upside. It could, the trend could continue, but I was able to see that this was a range or a pocket of consolidation right here, and nothing really exceeded the candle bodies of the lows here and the highs. And then when it broke out, I waited. I did not jump in here. I waited for another test. Now these tests are very good entry opportunities even on a smaller time frame. So I waited here again for it to break out the high and then pull back and test. This was my test right here, and this is where I got into the second trade. Now the second trade here was this one here at 32,429. I'm sorry, that's not right. 32,667, and then closed at 32,746 for 79 points. The first trade here was 176 points. Now, I mentioned that I'm trading a $10,000 account for this particular recording and this particular challenge. I want everybody to see that you can do this. I want you to know that whether you have the skills to trade and get and earn your own funded account, or you use my trade copier, you can do this. I mean, if you're good enough, or if you want to do this on your own at some point in the future, you can learn how to read the charts and read the markets like this. It's going to require commitment, or again, you can use my trade copier service and let me do it for you. But this is the way that I trade. This is what I've been doing for the last 22 years. I don't do anything else other than trade. I do trade Forex, but this is a great market to trade because you can reach your expected evaluation profit targets relatively soon. And then once you get your live funded account, you can expect a healthy paycheck. I mean, you're going to get anywhere from 75 to 85% of the profits of what you earn, or what I would earn for you if you're using my trade copier at the end of the month. So if you go after a larger funded account, they've got accounts that are $100,000, $200,000, and $400,000 that are out there with these different companies. And if you pass this, either you doing it yourself or you use my trade copier service, you could potentially see $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month if you have a larger size trading account. But it all starts with understanding the mechanics and understanding who's trading for you if you're going to use a trade copier service, and do you trust them. That's the other reason that I'm making these videos, is to show you how I trade and what I'm doing. I'll even show you the losses if and when I have a loss. So this one here, again, I just traded it and followed. In this example, I really didn't have anything other than, as far as a resistance level, than this upside channel. You can see it right here, these levels right here, this channel. So it did not hit that or go through it. It may later, but at this point, what I'm doing, especially when I know I'm getting into later on in the trading session, maybe it's around lunchtime or shortly after, if I can tell and I can see that volume levels have dried up significantly and it's going to go sideways, I'm going to lock in profits. And what I'm doing here at this point, again, getting in on a 5-minute bar chart, is I'm reading where these candles are closing, where the bars are closing at the highs. And then when it started to pull back and it went back up one more time, that's where I got out of the trade and closed out the position. So that resulted in the last trade earning 79 pips. First trade was 176 pips over here to the left, and then it was that last trade right up there into that area of resistance. I closed out the trade. I've been doing this for 22 years. I know how these markets work. They don't do this every day, but when the move is over, this is pretty much what we see. Things go sideways, things go flat, and it's a matter of leaving it alone and waiting. Now, I don't usually trade the US 30 during the overnight session. I wait until 6:30, or it's 6:30 California time. I'm located in California, but it's 9:30 when the stock market opens. Those are usually the better opportunities. Occasionally, I get a setup at 8:30 New York time with some economic data. But in some instances, it'll do this. I believe this was this morning's candle right here. This was economic data this morning at 8:30 New York time. So, I mean, if it gives me an opportunity to take the trade, I'll take it. If not, it'll do something just like this. It'll just kind of create a head fake. Inexperienced traders try to trade the news and they go short and they get stuck, and then the whole thing continues. I just stay out of the way. I don't need to trade the news the split second that it's released. That's risky, and it puts my account and your account at risk. Every one of these trades that I'm showing you, I execute them in all of my own funded accounts that I've earned from all of these companies that offer funded accounts, and all of my subscribers, they get the same trades through the use of this trade copier service. So go to my website, the link's below this video. You can go to the sign up page. You can either buy a 1 month subscription, or you can buy a block of time and you get a discount if you buy more than 1 month, and you just let it run. I will trade the account for you during the evaluation process. Doesn't matter which company are you using, but I want you to show how I can hit. I want to show you how I can hit the 8% target with my Forex funds, and I'm also going to continue to show you when I hit the 10% target, because some of the other funded accounts require a 10% target. So I'll show you exactly what that looks like with this this account. I don't know if I'll hit the 8% by tomorrow. It's possible if we get a big day. I might even hit 10%, and just the same, it might take until Monday or Tuesday of next week. Again, today is Thursday, and these are the results so far. So in 2 trading days, taking 3 trades so far, as at the point where I started this funded challenge to decide to record this as well to show you, I've earned a total of 462 points. Each point is $1. We're trading a zero. Let me show you the lot size, 0.01 lot size. That's it on the US 30. So far, our target is 8% with My Forex Funds. That's the first phase target. That's $800, and we're already just about halfway there. So again, it could be that I could hit the target, the 8% target, and hit my $800 profit target by tomorrow, or it may take until Monday or Tuesday. But either way, I will keep you informed, and I will post the videos each day. Thanks for watching.